Michelle here at Gardening TLC, and welcome back to my garden. It's a little brisk out here today, but look, I finally finished my vegetable flower area for 2026. I am so excited to share this area with you. I'm going to take you through and show you what I built, how I built it, but I'm also going to tell you why. Why am I making a new garden bed area, and what am I going to do with it? So if you want to know, come along with me today and you'll find out. Come on. I'm pretty excited about this new area. I've been dreaming about having an area like this for a long time. For years, I gardened in the community garden beds, which was totally fine, on the other side of my house. But I really wanted to move my operation over here, and I really wanted to have an area where I could have vegetables, herbs, and cut flowers. And that is what I've created here. So not only is this going to be a functional area for me to be able to grow in, it's also going to be an area where I marry everything together, and it's going to create an ecosystem where nature takes care of nature. You want to find out how? Well, today we're going to do the introduction of what that is. And next year, when I start to plant, we will take you through all season long what I'm doing in this area. So it's going to kind of be a one-off from the regular channel of what I normally do. I don't think I'm going to put a set day or time on it, but throughout the growing season, whatever I'm doing, I will let you know, and you can do it with me, from starting our seeds to planting our garlic right now. So if you guys are ready, let's talk about what I built. I'm pretty excited about this area, and you might think, what do pretty flowers like a cut flower garden have to do with a vegetable garden? And you might think not much, but the reality is vegetables and flowers and herbs have been grown together for centuries. Think about a cottage garden. A cottage garden combines all of those elements, and it's a practical use of a small space. And that's what I want to do. Not only that, if I have a healthy dose of flowers in this garden bed, it is certainly going to attract pollinators and beneficial insects. So one of the things that we battle when we garden are all of the bad insects, disease, and things that we just don't want in our garden. So I am going to attempt to create an ecosystem out here where nature takes care of nature, and basically I want the flowers to attract the beneficials and the honeybees and everything that I need to combat any of the bug problems that I get that I don't want. So, I really love that this is here. I'm pretty excited about it. And someone once told me a long time ago, if you're going to do a garden that's mixed like that, you really don't want to put it like out a window where you can see it. And you certainly don't want to put it where you won't come out and harvest the flowers. Because the whole purpose of this area is that it's a functional space that's creating flowers that you're going to harvest, and vegetables that you're going to harvest, and herbs that you're going to harvest. Because this is going to be a functional garden, and it's just big enough for me to give some food away, to share with my friends and family, and for me and Glenn to eat. The whole idea started with this cattle panel tunnel because my daughter had one and I loved it, and I decided I had to have one. So that was the first thing I constructed. And what I did was I went and bought 5 cattle panels, and the cattle panels are 16 feet long and they're 4 foot wide. And then I bought 12 T-posts. Now for me, I wanted them all to be the same height when I pounded them in the ground. So I marked the bottom of them with paint. So that way when we did that, they were all the same height when I finished, and it made it have like a neater appearance. I didn't want them to be all different heights. Then I took landscape timbers. Now these landscape timbers we cut to fit the area that we wanted it to be. And we made this bed right here, which is 4 feet wide, and then it follows the whole length of the cattle panels. Now in here, we're gonna have cut flowers, we'll have lavender, and we're gonna do an English lavender that's a perennial, and I think just cut flowers here. But we will also be growing crops that we'll plant along the edge of the cattle panels that are gonna grow up the cattle panel. And we'll do things like cucumbers and melons and pumpkins and squash and pole beans, because a lot of those really are good together as companion plants. Now I did lay landscape fabric coming down this area right here because I don't want to mess with weeds. Even though weeds will still grow on top of this, it's really going to cut it down. That is the only place that I put fabric, is underneath this area right here. Now I did lay cardboard out here, and it sat out here just getting wet all season long, and then I just put pure compost right on top. So I invested my money in the soil, because if you want to have healthy plants on top, you need to think about what's underneath those plants, generating them to grow. And if you're going to spend your money, spend it on making your soil excellent. We also added 3 of these cedar raised beds. 2 of them I had on my back deck already. I've had them for a couple years, so that's why they look weathered, and this one doesn't. This was one that we brought into the garden center. It made it to the end of the season and nobody had bought it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to add a 3rd one to the garden, and I brought it over here. Now again, I filled this with compost at the bottom. So like from here down, I just used garden soil, and in these 3 beds I did use product in a bag because it didn't take that much to do that. So these are here, they have drainage, they're all setting on the rocks there, and then we outline the area with the landscape timbers that we found in my she shed when we were cleaning it out. They were up in the loft, and I grabbed them and I brought them out here. Next, I have 4 galvanized metal beds. I bought these at the beginning of the year. I found them on sale. I think I got them for like $79.99 a piece. So it wasn't even the expense of the metal beds. That's all my money. All my money is right there. So I did put debris and logs on the bottom to about here. And then I put garden blend here. And then I'd say the top 6 to 8 inches is compost. And so I used bag compost. I actually bought a whole pallet just for this project, and I used 65 bags of compost out here, but it'll be so worth it at the end. So we are going to be planting some garlic in this bed today because I need to get that in the ground, but we do have 4 of them. These are 3 feet wide and they're 8 feet long. I used these last year when I did that conversion of the parking lot for the employees over at my friend's business, and I love these beds, so I got them again. And I did them in black, but I also have this round one out here. Let's talk about that one. I want to give a huge thank you to our sponsor for this video, Languard. They've provided one of the raised garden beds that I've added to this area, and I am so excited to show you why it's a great choice and why I picked it. So this is the Languard 3x3 round raised bed, and I chose a cream color. Now I like this size because it fits perfectly into my space, and it's big enough that I can grow a variety of things in it, but it's compact enough that I can manage it really easy. I love the cream finish because it complements what I've already got going on out here, and I will be growing strawberries in this one. Now what I love about Languard is that they actually make a really high quality metal garden bed. It's galvanized, it's durable, and there are other finishes besides just cream that you can choose from. There's also other options. I like that they care about both function and form, and they emphasize safe and durable materials. They're easy to assemble. I put this one together in about 10 minutes. And again, there's a lot of different styles and colors to choose from. Some of the things that really stood out to me about these garden beds, though, were I really like that clean look. I like that it's sturdy. It's not flimsy. It's not like a flimsy wood or a cheap plastic. I do like that there was a lot of different sizes available. I chose the 3x3x3 round because it fit into what I want to do in this garden area with this one. It's very manageable and I can reach all the way across it. I filled it up with a really great medium so that I can plant in it. This is going to be fantastic for strawberries. Now, I do like the cream color. I think it's stylish and I think it brightens up the area. Because I have black already in the bed, I didn't want to have more, so that was why I chose the cream. Being a raised bed, it has a defined structure, and I like that it looks neat in the garden and it makes maintenance so much easier. The other thing is it's backed. by the Languard brand. It offers free shipping, there's a good selection, and they have customer support. They also have some vlogging ideas and different gardening articles on their website, so make sure you can go check that out. I also love that I have created this area that looks tidy, it's easier to manage, it's attractive, aesthetically it looks good, because not only do I want my garden to be functional, I do want it to look good. So I'm pretty excited about adding these raised beds to my garden. Now, if you're thinking about adding a raised bed to your garden, I would definitely recommend checking out Languard. I'll put a link in the description below, and if you do decide to get one, use coupon code Michelle10 for 10% off your order, and that way you can explore on your own the colors, the sizes, and the options that will fit your space. I liked my garden bed when I got it so much that I ordered another one. So I actually have a 2x2 shorter round coming, and I'm going to be placing this right in the center of my 4 raised beds that I already have. Now, I'm choosing to do a lot of raised beds in my garden because you really do get better drainage, and you have soil control in a raised bed because you pretty much pick out everything that's going on in there. I also don't have to deal with so many weeds and so many pests because it is up off the ground. I also think raised beds tend to warm up faster in the spring, so therefore I can actually plant just a little bit earlier. And me, I hate gardening on the ground, so if I can bring the level up so I don't have to get down on my knees, I'm good with that. Again, a huge thanks to Languard for sponsoring this video and for providing the raised bed. I'm really excited to get going and growing in this in 2026. I also finally got those pavers that were sitting at the end of the driveway in the ground. So we cored this out, we compacted in gravel, and then we laid the pavers. And I basically just made this as big as how many pavers I had left. And I think it ended up being like 6 by 6. But this is perfect to put a table on, so I have a work table out here. So yeah, loving that. I did have a green stalk, and this green stalk I've had for a while. Last year, I planted strawberries in it. This year, I didn't plant anything in it. And I'm going to have it out here, and I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I didn't put the wheels on it, but I did put the spinner on it. So I really like the green stalk, and so we'll figure out something that we're going to do with that. Now, if you're thinking that I'm going to create an ecosystem in one season, that's probably not going to happen. It's going to take 2 or 3 seasons for nature to create the ecosystem over here that I'm looking for. My goal right now is to get the garden going, get the plants planted, time it out, work out my timing, and then start working on making sure that I have the things in here that attract the beneficial insects. So we are not going to use any pesticides whatsoever in this garden. All right, and here's something, you guys. Did you know that according to the University of Florida Extension, that there are probably around 100,000 insects in North America, but less than 1% of them feed on plants in a harmful way? So let that sink in for a moment. That actually means that the vast majority of bugs in your garden, they're most likely to not be harmful, and they have a good chance of benefiting the garden in some way. There are some beneficial creatures that you're likely acquainted with, but you probably don't want in your garden. But believe it or not, you want them in your garden. There are 3 that I'm kind of speaking about, okay? And I'm not a fan of them either, but one of them are snakes. So if you have snakes in your garden, they're going to eat voles, they're going to eat mice, they're going to eat rats, they're going to eat things that you don't want in your garden. So guess what? There'll be a little rock pile over here. Maybe I'll attract some snakes. Luckily for me, I have no poisonous snakes in Northern Illinois, so I don't have to worry about that. Next one is spiders. I hate spiders. Now, I love them in my garden, and I don't knock their webs down or anything unless I'm going to run into them and they're going to get in my face. Then I will knock a spider web down. But spiders, they eat stink bugs, and they eat a lot of bugs in your garden that you don't want. And the first time you see one of those stink bugs wrapped up in a spider's web, oh yeah, the rewards of that revenge are sweet. Next one that I'm not in love with, but definitely play an important part in the garden, are wasps. Now, wasps you have to be a little more careful with so they aren't stinging you, because they can be a little more aggressive. But wasps will do a lot of pollinating and a lot of eating of bugs that you don't want in your garden. So they are a welcome addition as well. I said before that you can't make this happen in a season. You really can't. It takes time. But adding a balance of blooming flowers to your vegetable garden, it gives nature a chance to develop into something that's pretty spectacular. My first I guess inspiration to do this was when I went to German Valley and did my very first garden tour at Patty's house. And she kind of had this going on in her backyard. And I loved this area. And that was my inspiration for even starting down this road. And now that I've started down this road, I am so excited to continue gardening over here. So my whole goal in gardening over here is basically, I want to show you how easy and fun it can be to use nature to prevent and combat problems. My garden is planned around nature and the workforce of nature as much as it is for vegetables for my family. And I will use the cut flowers for me. I'm starting a flower ministry where we'll be giving a lot of the flowers away because you got to harvest them. But when I couple that with all natural gardening practices, it really does change everything. It's not just adding flowers. It's not just stopping the use of pesticides or any one thing. It's basically all of those things working together that will invite nature in and let it do what comes naturally to help your garden grow. And again, that's not going to happen overnight. It'll probably take me 2 or 3 seasons to get that whole ecosystem working. So how does gardening actually get easier by doing all of this? You might think that it sounds like a lot of work. Now, on the front end, I think that there was some work to set this up. And I had to sit down and create a plan, and that took me a couple hours. But you know what? I like that part. I love the planning part. Planting vegetables at the right time, in the right medium, it actually produces stronger, more healthy plants. And guess what? That invites less bugs to begin with. By adding flowers, and we're not just talking summer flowers, we're talking from frost to frost, and you harvest them and you keep them producing, that actually brings those pollinators into your garden to do all that work for you. If you're going to spend money on your soil. Make sure you're adding that organic matter to your soil every single year. So every time I garden, guess what? That soil level is going to drop, and I'm not going to add soil on top. Every year I will add compost on top, making sure that I keep the bottom part underneath working so that everything above it grows spectacularly. Also, you want to start with healthy plants, and I'll tell you, you'll get more variety growing seeds than you'll ever find at any garden center, mine included, or box store. There are so many varieties out there, and growing from seed, you know exactly how it was grown. You know what you grew it in, you know that you didn't put any chemicals on it, and you can be sure that what you're planting is going to be that, I guess, organic item out in your garden. Now, gardening is the rhythm of my life, but I have certainly spent some time setting myself up to make my life easier. In the spring, there'll be more work than in the summer, and staying on top of those daily tasks, that's going to make it easier all through the season. So just like I adopt the practice of zoning my garden and going around and spending 10 minutes in an area every day of the week, well, guess what? I'm going to do the exact same thing out here so that it never gets away from me. So I've condensed all of the gardens that I currently have into that Monday through Thursday chore list, 10 minutes a day. Super easy to keep up in your garden if you create that habit. Well, this will now become either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I don't know what day, probably Sunday, but now I'll have that routine out here as well. And I just build them into the rhythm of what I'm already doing. Now, we will be creating some habitats out here as well for animals to come, stay, raise their young, birds, beneficial things that we want in the garden to help control nature with nature. Will I attract some things that I don't want? Probably. Will I be okay with that? Absolutely. I'm going to have some aesthetic damage probably, but you got to be able to live with a little bit of that. I'm probably not going to fence this in. I thought about it. Now, if I start attracting a bunch of deer because I created a salad bar out here for them, then I might think about it. But right now, I haven't had deer pressure, and we're going to leave it as is. Now, the other thing that we're going to do is we are going to be making some organic materials from the product right here in my own garden. So we are going to be doing some leaf mold. We're going to be making some containers for that. I'll show you how to do that. I do have a cold pile of compost. It takes it like a year, sometimes a year and a half to break down, but I've got that going in the back as well. So all of those will help add to what I'm doing out here. And over time, right now, it's so pristine and pretty and great. But once I start gardening in it, it won't be this pristine and beautiful. It's going to be nature. And I'm okay. That's going to be awesome. Are you guys excited? Do you want to do this with me? Even if you just do one little bed or you follow along and you learn something, That'll be awesome, because we're going to also talk about what do we do with what we grow? How do we handle those herbs? What are things that we can do with that? Whether it's medicinal or it's cooking, or maybe I want to make some beauty products or a salve or something. I'm going to run down that rabbit trail as well. So if you want to learn about that stuff, I am so in love with doing that stuff. I'm going to share my love and my passion of doing it. We'll continue to do the regular gardens that we always have done, and the channel will continue forward. And if you're not interested in this, that's okay. You don't have to watch this, but there are people out there that are interested in it, and we're going to add this to part of what we do on the channel. If you're interested in getting a Languard metal bed, use the code Michelle10 when placing your order, and you'll get 10% off. That's all I've got for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you are as excited as I am to go on this journey. We're just going to continue to garden as we can with the weather cooling down, but we can still get out here and do stuff. I have one more batch of plants I need to get in the ground. I want to get the leaf cages made. I want to get garlic planted. So much to do and so little time to get it done, because now it's a race to finish. We have hard frost coming tomorrow night, so that's going to take all my annuals out. So I'll have to go around and clean all those up, start putting pots away. You know, the rhythm of shutting down for winter. Yeah, that's not my favorite part, but we got to get it done. So stay tuned. All that is coming, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you get your hands in the dirt today. If not, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Michelle, and we'll see you later. Bye, everyone.